My neighbor had always been a very mysterious lady. She was in her mid-60s and had long gray hair that hung all the way down her back. She looked like a hippie. The loose, flowy dresses and scarves, along with the hippy-dippy tunes that were always flowing out her windows, gave it away. She had moved in years before, but we had never really talked. One day, we were both coming home at the same time and ended up talking for quite some time. I offered to help her in with her groceries, and she offered me a cup of tea after. When I finished my tea, she reached across and started to peer intently at the bottom of the teacup. I asked her what she was doing, and she said she was reading my tea leaves. I didn't know that I didn't believe in that stuff, but I also didn't know I did. I had always just been kind of indifferent to it. I barely knew what astrological sign I was or what it meant. She didn't tell me much from the leaves, but she was a very easy lady to talk to. I'm not sure why I chose this exact moment to confess my love for my best friend, but out it came. She had been talking about a big regret in her love life, and that's when I blurted out that I was in love with my best friend who had no idea. I had never planned on telling him and told her that. I knew it would never work. He was not into me in that way at all and never had been. We kissed one night early on when we first met, and he told me after that he didn't feel any chemistry with me, but really liked me and wanted to stay friends. We had been inseparable ever since. We saw each other through all the good times and the bad. We complained about our parents, other friends, and talked about our relationships that we were either in, ending, or wanting to be in. It was so great to have a guy's perspective on things, and he said the same about me. We felt so comfortable with each other. It wasn't until he bought me a special birthday gift that I realized my feelings for him. We had passed an antique shop one day and were looking in the window. I had seen a beautiful bracelet that had reminded me of a special aunt who had passed away. On my last birthday, I was shocked to unwrap a perfectly wrapped tiny box to reveal the very same bracelet. The gift really choked me up. The fact that he had remembered, taken the time to go back for it, and save it for me for 6 months until my birthday came meant so much. I was looking at the bracelet later and found myself thinking, no one else would ever do something like that for me. I couldn't stop thinking about it, picturing him buying it, wrapping it, and hanging onto it for all that time. I realized I loved him, and once I realized it, it was all I could think about. For some reason, that day with my neighbor, it all came out. I hadn't told anyone else. After all, he was my best friend, and I couldn't tell him, could I? My neighbor told me to come back in a week and to bring a cup my bestie had drunk from. I didn't know why she wanted that, but for reasons I didn't understand, I really trusted her and wanted to do what she asked. When I arrived a week later with his teacup, she took it into the kitchen and seemed to be in there for a while. I was starting to get a little curious when she came out with a steaming hot cup of tea in the mug I had brought and set it in front of me. She told me to drink it slowly and think of what I truly wanted from my best friend. She said that if I really concentrated and drank every last drop, I would get exactly what I wanted from my best friend. I thought, what have I got to lose? I certainly didn't have the guts to tell him myself. So while I drank that tea, I thought of how I wanted him to know my feelings without me having to tell him. So on the day I drank a secret ingredient tea from my neighbor, this happened. My best friend called me that night to say he had something important he wanted to discuss with me. I was so nervous to see him. A second after I opened my door, I was in his arms. As it turns out, he felt the exact same way. To watch more animated story videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And tell us in the comments section what you thought about this story.